All right. One last thing. I guess we can get going. I'll be right back.
Tinky real quick before we go.
Don't ever say that again.
Tinky?
I'm going to tinky real quick before I go. God damn it.
Tinky?
I do not approve of that.
I'm going to drain the main vein before we start here.
That's honestly better.
Yeah,
Really?
I agree.
At least it's like kind of
Adult?
clever and there's some wordplay, you know.
Welcome to the All Pop No Culture Podcast. I'm your host this week, Opie. I'm joined as always by Kevin.
Hello.
David.
Hello.
Alex.
Hi.
And Pete.
Howdy.
We got a lot to talk about this week. A lot happened throughout the week, and we weren't all together last week, so it's time to play some catch up. If you're new to the show, we are a pop culture centered podcast that talks about movies and television and sometimes video games on stuff to watch or avoid. And each week we also are tasked to review some franchise movies that we are assigned randomly by a spin of a wheel. And this week we will have Kevin talking about the next installment of Sean Connery's 007, which I believe is Thunderball.
Yeah.
Looks like David might be rounding out his Paranormal Activity with the 6th installment.
Correct. The Ghost Dimension. This one also has a line. The last one had
Ghost
they couldn't be
Dimension.
outdone. Ghost Dimension.
So you'll be spinning this week as you're finishing off. Looks
correct.
like Alex.
This is the end.
Alex has not started his newest one. What did you spin last week?
Doesn't
High
matter.
School Musical.
That's right. High School Musical. So I imagine
That's not
it'll
what
be a
I
few weeks.
spun. I spun the Alien
I wish I'd have
franchise.
been there for that.
Yo, I didn't spin that one. I spun Nightmare or Friday the 13th. Like you.
David's
worth
worth it to watch the video to see Mike's explosion of joy.
And
Yo.
then
I've never
I'll
seen
watch.
someone so happy in like fucking months.
great.
Yeah.
And then Pete will be. You watched 4 of them.
Fuck yes, I did.
Jurassic Park 3.
2, 3, 4.
Oh, you
5.
didn't do 2 already? Oh, I thought you did.
You
2
didn't do
already.
2 yet.
No.
Okay, so listener, we are gonna have an overload of Jurassic Park / World bullshit tonight. So bear with us on that. And then we'll also be discussing the latest episode of Loki. So if you have not seen Loki, spoilers ahead, along with the movie Black Widow, which I believe we've all seen. Yes.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about Black Widow. So spoilers ahead on that one as well. And finally, the only topic on the docket will also be the last season / series or season finale of Mythic Quest on Apple TV Plus. So this week, let's see, from where I'm sitting, I'm actually right in the middle of the screen on mine. So let's start with David this week, since you were gone last week. What have you been watching the last, I guess, couple weeks worth mentioning?
I think we'll have a couple people get to jump in on this one. I watched The Tomorrow War.
I
have
finished
not
that
seen
today.
Did you
Oh,
not
today.
listen to my review?
I did.
I did listen to your review.
Well, I know you did. You were here.
But I knew that it was.
You saw that and reviewed it?
Wasn't any good.
I don't
that-
remember you talking about it.
That was the week.
That's the Chris Pratt
Or no, that
movie.
was when you left the other show.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
That would
you had
explain
bounced out already.
That's right. So
So
I
obviously-
listened to this last week. So
I would say you didn't listen to last week's
Yeah.
no, I
episode.
haven't listened to the show.
It is not good. The movie's plot is just Swiss cheese. It is so porous. Nothing makes any sense at all whatsoever. There's
Talk
some
about Army of
funny
the Dead?
stuff. Well,
Army
my
of the
favorite-
Dead might have been a better movie.
It might
Ooh,
have been a
yeah.
better movie.
Ooh, damn.
Yeah,
sure.
No, I'm not.
My favorite
Chris
part.
Pratt is not going to have a good episode.
Uh-uh.
No. No.
He is not well
No.
represented on this episode.
No.
In fact,
No.
I didn't
The
even like
the
him in
the
Thunderball.
title of this show should be "Our Apologies, Chris Pratt."
I will say, yeah, he
write
was
that
not
down.
particularly good. The relationship with his daughter in the future was just a mess.
Well, for one, it was the most cliched fucking thing. Like I knew it was gonna happen.
Oh,
Like
of
as soon as he went
course.
into the future, I was like, "Fuck, he's Yvonne Strahovski's daughter."
Yeah.
And then
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
"God
I mean,
damn
you
it."
saw it a mile away, and then he walks right into it with "I'm not a colonel," and you're just like, "Oh my god, this I can't believe," And then
Oh, J.K. Simmons. Oh man,
He was
that guy
he was likable, and I didn't have a problem with
he
him.
was badass, and
fine.
that's what he does in all the all the shitty movies. He shows up and just kills it.
Yeah,
And then, but the
that's
rest of the
probably why
movie is
everybody
garbage.
thinks he's so good. Is because he just shows up in shitty movies.
and then does it well.
Yeah.
He's in a few good ones as well. Let's give him a little credit.
He was in that Terminator one that Genesis, or not Genesis, but the other one with Emilia Clarke. I was like, what are you doing in
That was
this?
Genesis. Yeah.
Was that Genesis?
Yeah,
so
it was
he was
Genesis,
good in
yeah.
that. He did a good job. But anyway, I'm sorry, David. Please continue.
He was referred to by Richard from Veep as Conspiracy Santa, and I thought that was
Sam Richardson.
That was hilarious.
It was a very appropriate thing. Yes. And Sam Richardson gets to do what they were unable to do in Army of the Dead. And that is kill one of the bad guys with the big saw thing.
Yeah.
He did that. And I was like, fuck yeah, man. Like that was probably the coolest part of the entire movie.
Is that that's the same saw that magically cut into an alien ship from another planet
Yeah.
that made it through
I mean, the whole end of that movie makes no sense. They're like, okay, well, we've got 30 years to solve this problem, so let's get it done in the next 12 hours, right, guys?
Yeah.
So let's
Well,
not put up any safeguards or
reasoning
try
behind
it.
their thing where they're like, we found the ship. Now we have proof. We can go back and talk to like the world governments
Yeah.
and get them to like figure out what to do. And they're like, they'll take too
No.
much time. They'll just talk about it. I'm like, you have 3 decades. Like
Yeah.
you will be okay. And I'm like, if you all
Yeah.
die here, no
Then
one
no
knows
one
where this
knows.
ship is.
Yeah.
There was that one, and then how like she's trying to send him back with the antidote. He's like, I don't want to leave you here, and I'm like, dipshit. If you go back and save everything, she's fine.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Fine.
the point. Like she
Ugh.
won't die.
It's a
Also,
horrible,
I love that
horrible
like they're
movie.
under attack and she's got this thing filled. Why they didn't have like a C4 trap on the queen to begin with makes no fucking sense. Why they didn't just like hit a button and fucking burn her to death. Like, have
Yeah.
they never seen a movie where you have a trapped enemy that is dangerous? You have a kill button. Fucking
Yeah.
morons.
Or people in the room with guns, like or something
Or they're storing it on the same place that has their only method of going back and forth in time.
oh yeah, right. Like
This
exactly.
looks like, well, the director is Chris McKay. It looks like this is his first live action directorial
yeah.
feature. 'Cause he did-
They never thought no one on this production staff ever took the chance to think, does this make sense?
Not
Because
at
if
all.
they had,
No,
they would
that
not
question
have made
was
this
never
film
asked.
because none of it makes sense. They leave. She synthesizes magically just like 1 second before they're attacked. Oh, 100%.
Oh, wait, real quick. The Tomorrow War spoilers.
Oh yeah. By the way,
Spoilers.
No one should watch it, so that's fine.
Yeah, we're saving them.
the other thing I
Um,
love is that they say only 30% of the people survive. But when they drop them in from like a mile up, and like 30% of the people they drop in just die because
Well, to
they fucking
be fair,
hit
that was
buildings and
explained.
shit.
That was a
fair.
malfunction.
There was like an error in their portal, something or other. So
Sure.
Yeah, but
sure.
still,
they thought about that one thing.
They thought about that one thing. It just nothing made sense.
No.
He needed to take the vial back. That was his whole purpose. And yet, when they leave the lab, she's the one holding the vial the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, what if
Yeah.
they ever got separated? Like, why didn't he have the vial? That made no sense.
Yeah.
And then his reluctance also made no sense. And all the other, it was crap.
It's
What about
terrible.
Betty Gilpin? She played Emmy Forrester. How was she?
Yeah,
how was
She was fine.
barely
She
used.
didn't. Yeah, and she didn't really have a
Oh.
lot of personality in it. Like her character wasn't very interesting.
Yeah,
Hmm.
she was just
like her.
there as
I
a.
do
Yeah, I do like
know
her a
who
lot.
that is.
She was great in Nurse Jackie, his wife.
Yeah, Nurse Jackie and
His wife.
Oh, his wife. Oh, yeah, she was fine.
Liberty
All the
Bell
supporting
from,
characters were actually kind of okay or even good,
Low.
like JK.
Yeah. All right, so
So don't see it.
1
Although
out
I
of 10.
did enjoy very much making fun of this movie with my wife. Like the two of us were
Yeah.
mocking
Oh.
the shit out of this thing the entire time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just like every couple of minutes, I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
Like, just like, why?
IMDb
they're
gives
already-
it a 6.7 out of 10.
That's
They've
Oh,
already
yeah, they're-
greenlit a sequel.
that's about
54%
6.7
yeah.
points too high.
They're calling it a hugely successful debut.
Well, it
Yeah,
was successful monetarily, and
Yeah.
even like critically, for some reason, it's getting not great scores and some bad ones, but it's like kind of even keel, like in the sevens,
Yeah.
like for most outlets. And I'm like, how?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Dude, it's funny
Yeah.
because Alex made me want to watch it last week just for the sheer campiness of it, the way he described it. But then I'm listening to Dave and Kevin, and I'm like, well,
It's not that it's campy, dude.
It's not
just,
campy.
It's not
just dumb. It's dumb
well
and bad.
put together. It's not like the special effects are fine.
In most
you know,
cases, there are some pretty
yeah.
bad shots. But I
Yeah.
thought that I even mentioned last week, I was like, I think the monsters actually look kind of cool, all things
Yeah.
considered.
I think
It
up
looked
until
like Displacer Beasts from D&D.
yeah,
Okay.
the one
Okay.
thing I didn't like about them is just like
I got
their
Teacher now.
whole-
He's like, I'm watching it.
I got you, Dave. I'm right there with you, man.
He's like, I'm in. Pulls out his D20 and throws it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I believe you should have started with that. Jesus.
Well, it's like an
Well,
8-legged
burying
panther
the
with these two
lead.
tentacles with stingers on the end.
yeah, they just like that. My biggest problem with them too is like, oh, so you sent your dogs to a planet to take over? Like they're not intelligent at all. Like, and they kind of explain that at the end, but like
yeah.
they're like, oops, maybe they just crashed here on accident.
Yeah.
I was like,
So-
yeah, so we're like a cosmic McDonald's that they dropped off their dogs because they crashed.
So
You
out
know,
of the
we're
3
just
of
their
5,
drive-through.
3 of 5 is a definitive. Let's pass on this. This is the first thing brought up on the show that's already packed. So let's go ahead and just move on there to the second thing you watched in the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I don't think there is. I did start a new video game though.
Mhm.
And
Yes,
I
you did.
started The Last of Us, which I will say was very painful for me. I have not played a PlayStation in over 20 years. So
The Last of Us.
Stop.
Don't do this.
and I
better
could
person.
say that the game I'm a little ways in. I've
Where'd you
gotten
get it?
Nesto had it. He just
Oh.
gave me his to play.
Are you playing on PS3 or PS4?
The PS4.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Remaster.
It's the remastered edition.
Yes.
Yeah.
And yeah, and it's fun.
It's-
I like it. I like it a lot. I mean, it's like walking around in a movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, there are times where you have to, sneak past people or kill people or do whatever. But for a lot of times during transit, you're picking up a shit ton of information, and they don't really hand
Yes.
you stuff. And like, there's like one scene I walked over and there were two people talking, and I just walked up and watched because I wanted to see what they had to say. And then they turned and engaged with my character. I never hit a button. I never did
Yep.
anything. And then my character engaged back. And I thought that was the coolest damn thing I'd ever seen. Like,
Yeah, because
just-
you can miss it. It's completely optional.
yeah. And I just
Yep.
walked over there and they just turned and they're like, "Hey, Joel, what do you think about this?" And he's like, "Oh, well, I was thinking this." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, I didn't even tell him to engage. He just did it because he was standing there for long enough." So yeah, there's really cool shit like that. Then there's another scene. I don't know much about myself at this point. Like, I had just woken up from a 25-year later,
Mhm.
splash screen, and I'm walking down. And this one guy starts mouthing off to me, and the guy next to him goes, "Oh, shut up, dude! Like, what the fuck's your problem?" "Sorry, Joel, man. I'm sorry." And then as I'm walking away, I kind of like slow so I can hear the rest of their conversation. He's like, "Don't you know who the fuck that guy is? What's your deal, man?" And I was like, "Dude, I don't know who the fuck I am." That's cool. Now I'm excited to see, to learn more. So it's a brilliant game. It deserves all the accolades you guys have given it so far. So
What's it
I
called?
just picked up my
Stop.
cargo. Just picked up my cargo. That's where I'm at. And unfortunately, I just haven't had time to keep playing. I want to get back to it, but I haven't been able to.
It'll
The good thing
be
is,
there, man.
if,
Take your time.
Yeah, and if you don't rush, it doesn't matter. It's not the longest game ever, so
Yeah.
the end will come relatively quick. But there's definitely a few parts of it that'll hit you a little hard. So
Oh yeah.
take
But
your
now
time.
that
yeah.
I've sullied myself, they've got the whole Uncharted series to play.
Yes.
I've got Event Dawn Horizon. Is that what it is?
Event Horizon, yeah.
Yeah, that's on
Or
there.
not Event
too.
Horizon,
Horizon.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yeah, that. the Spider-Man games on there. Like I've got all these really great games. They're like, you got to play this one, then you got to play this one. So I'm going to be busy with that for a while.
If you put a PS4 in your hand and you haven't had one for a while, there's a lot of stuff to catch up on.
PS4
I
is
started
incredible.
playing Spider-Man. I also downloaded Uncharted when it was
That game is fantastic. The first one is definitely
It's a little rough.
feels old now.
Yeah.
2 is probably actually my favorite from that whole series.
Oh yeah. For sure.
But 3 and 4 are great too.
Mhm.
Well, I'm playing Spider-Man right now.
Yeah, that game. I love that game.
That'll take you a while.
But that's it for me. I've been doing a lot of other shit. So none of which you guys.
All right. And what was the game? No, nobody. All right.
Childish.
And the
Well,
rest of us
then,
left. I don't.
So I'll go real quick because I just want to get through. Basically, the last couple of weeks, I've been meaning to talk about a show called Kevin Can Fuck Himself. It's on AMC, and it stars Annie Murphy from Schitt's Creek. And if you haven't seen the previews for it or anything, it's a very interesting show where it kind of envelops two television styles together based off of the perspective that is being portrayed. So Annie is the wife of like a Boston typical like sitcom thing, like a King of Queens kind of situation where it's a kind of a dopey guy. And it's really set up as a sitcom where there's like a laugh track and over the top jokes, stuff like that. That's when she's in what I guess is the reality that she's been living in. And then when she's by herself or something else, or she's kind of switching to this other side, it's more like a typical primetime drama. And it's very interesting to see that it bounce back and forth, but it really helps tell the story as far as how you're supposed to take the situation as it's coming. Because even like the jokes on the sitcom side they're over the top of your typical jokes, but they're not very good and they're not really meant to be good. And I think it's a laugh I'm pretty sure it's just a laugh track, by the way. It's just on every joke, and it's just like, okay, it's not the point of it to actually be a funny show. It's the point of what's going on in this life. And so it's interesting. I think I've gone through 4 or 5 episodes. It's on AMC, so I'm only able to watch it streamable after like a week after it's already been out or something like that. So but Annie Murphy's in it. There's nobody else in there that I think you would recognize. Maybe Brian Howe. He's an older actor. He's kind of a character actor. You've seen him. He plays the dad, but everyone else is no one else I'd recognize. It's pretty good so far. Kind of seeing where it's going. The dark side of her ego is the whole thing that's going on is she's trying to obtain some oxy so she can kill her husband, because he's just like the worst kind of, he's not mean, he's just that stupid, narcissistic, everything's about me kind of guy, and all his schemes and stuff are stuff that just like put her in a bad situation. So watching that, and then also I got caught up, or I'm watching Physical on Apple TV Plus with Rose Byrne. That's been pretty entertaining. The funniest thing about it actually is Rose Byrne has this internal monologue. I've talked about the show before, haven't I?
Yeah.
Really briefly, yeah.
So she starts this career in aerobics instructing, to battle the demons within her, kind of thing. That's how it gets started. But the inner monologue that she has about herself, like she just is ruthless about herself as far as like, just anything she thinks or says or what she thinks people are saying about her. It's just like the things she says are super harsh and somewhat funny, but at the same time, like I wonder from a female perspective, do women do that to themselves? Like I know I will judge myself occasionally on maybe a stupid decision, but not like all the time, every decision like it is portrayed here. I'm wondering if that's, it has a disclaimer at the beginning of every episode that it depicts, people with eating disorders and stuff like that. And if you, that kind of message. So I'm wondering if that kind of ties it. But anyway, that's that alone is worth watching because of just the way they do that. But it's a really good show, well acted. It's funny, so it's that one's on, like I said, Apple TV Plus. Season's still going on. And the last thing is I caught up with Mythic Quest. So I watched the entire second season this past week, but we will be talking about that shortly. So let's move on to and I've been playing Spider-Man. So about 6 hours in, I imagine. And there's so much shit to do on that. I keep dying. I keep getting beat the fuck up by groups.
You can, in the difficulty settings, if you put it on the easiest one, you actually can't die in combat.
Yeah.
So if you just want to experience the story, then you can just do that because the story is very good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do that then. I don't know.
We just get through it.
Anyway, it's fun. It's fun. But again, it's one of those ones where once I got to a point, I contemplated not recording tonight. Because I'm like, I wanted to play.
It's super swinging around the city and shit. Super fun. The story is good.
At times I'm good at it. Sometimes I'm just smacking into buildings. I'm still trying to, get my feel for it.
But once you get good at it though, like it's just fun. It's the best way to get it. Like it's better than using the fast travel. You're just like, fuck it, I'll just swing across the whole city.
Well, you get across pretty quickly. But I have all the maps. I've gotten that. Like I've gotten all the maps set so far. So, but anyway, Kevin, how about you?
I really haven't watched a whole lot, so I'll go pretty quick. I started watching. I'm caught up. I got caught up on the Bad Batch. This last episode was, I'm hoping had a point, but it sure felt pointless.
Feels like the review last week too.
Yeah, it's a weird. Like I wish they had just made a movie out of it. Like they could have this whole season just shortened so much of it and made it like a 2-hour movie and had it be pretty good. It has its moments for sure, and it's well made. The voice acting is all pretty good, although the little Omega character or whatever she is kind of,
she's awesome. I hate
yeah, she's a little annoying. Yeah,
I think that's a total miscast for that voice actor.
I think so too. It's a little too
right
childish and too, I don't know.
Opie.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the show's fine. It's just, it needs to get where it's going at this point. Like it's 16 episodes. It probably should have been 8. Yeah.
Hey, real quick, David, you sound a little low. Does anybody else feel like David sounds a little low?
It was a smidge. Yeah, a smidge.
Maybe a little bit.
Yeah, I always sound low. I'll try and fix that.
It's those deep tones.
He's like, I'm clinically depressed. Thank you for bringing it.
No. That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Not that kind of low. No.
Oh, really? You hear that?
Yeah. But fine. I'll just hang up now.
It just goes black. That's it. Holy shit.
Oh, bother.
Thanks for noticing me.
I caught, so again, I fell prey to whatever Netflix or Hulu was suggesting, and I watched a show, or started watching a show that's relatively highly rated out there, and it's a Mexican show that I had to watch with dubs, but it's called Who Killed Sara. It's like advertised all over, like when you first sign into Netflix, it's one of those ones that pops up. It's like this, it's the story of this guy. When he was a teenager, he went out with his friends, and his sister dies in a boating accident. Like she's doing parasailing, and the cord breaks, she falls into the water and dies. And the family that he's with happens to be the family of this big drug lord or whatever. And so they let him take the fall, and somehow it gets determined that it was murder or homicide or something along those lines. And he gets 30 years in jail. And so when he gets out, it's all about his revenge story, right? And there's a lot of stuff about this that's really dumb. And I feel like maybe the only reason I kept watching for as long as I did is he meets a girl that is the sister of the sister of the guys he was with, the family that basically let him take the fall for the murder. and she's just super pretty. Like I feel like that's the only reason I kept watching. She's very pretty. Yeah.
Question. Question.
Yes.
How do you die from a parasailing accident when the
right,
rope
dude.
breaks?
Right.
Don't you have a parachute?
Yeah, but she fell out of it. Like that's the thing. Like it was.
Oh, so there's a cut cable, and she was stupid. I mean, really, just sliding out would do it.
Yeah, it was. There's a lot of dumb.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was curious. I couldn't get past that, so I didn't hear another word you said.
Like realistically, I mean, she fell like 50 feet, maybe let's say 100 feet into the water. Like if you just go feet first, you're not going to die. Like that's like my part one.
She's all spread eagle.
Yeah, face first. She's like, let's go.
So I'll try to get her neck at a weird angle.
Yeah. So I'm like, that's usually not fatal, but okay. You know.
Did the boat even go back to look for her, or she's just laying there?
Yeah. They stop, but they stop like hella far away and jump in the water instead of like cruising over to get her.
Just stop talking about this movie. It sounds awful.
Yeah, it's really not very good, but it got a second season and then it's gonna have a third one.
Or show. Oh.
Yeah, it must be okay. Show. Yeah, it's a whole series.
Oh.
That I will not go back to.
You watched the whole first season?
No. I
okay.
got about halfway through the first season. And then I was just like, I can't. Like it's supposed to be interesting, and it's bad.
Well, you do that. You actually finish.
I will finish a shitty show.
The most.
Yeah, that's true.
I will finish a shitty show, but I will not finish this one, I don't think. But time will tell. And then I started watching. There's a series of movies that are coming out once every week. There's only 3 of them. They're horror films based on R.L. Stine's books, the Fear Street books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I watched the first one last week. I wanted to try to watch the second one tonight, and I was just too tired before we started recording, so I power napped instead. But they are a very good send-up of like 80s horror films. 80s and 90s horror films, like I would say think like the first Friday the 13th and the first Nightmare on Elm Street and things like that. Like
Alex, are you familiar with that?
Nope.
Real quick on that note, sorry to interrupt you, Kevin. I was scanning through HBO Max last night to see what was on there. You have until July 31st to watch all of the Nightmare on Elm Streets if you're subscribed to HBO Max now.
Better get on it, guys. Let me tell you, it's quite an experience.
No, it's interesting because all 3, so they're doing 3 movies and they all tie together. So it's like a series of movies. And I kind of read an article that said this is a very interesting way to tell the story they're telling because, usually it used to be if they were going to do this, you'd have to wait a year between movies. And they didn't necessarily drop all 3 movies right at once. They gave you a week in between to kind of sit on one and then go to the next one. That they're all centered around, teens and stuff like that. They don't skimp on the gore. They've got a good amount of gore in them.
What's it called?
Yeah, the first one is Fear. They're all Fear Street. The first one is Fear Street, 1994. Okay. The second one is 1978. So there's kind of they're rolling backwards. So the next one tells more backstory. And then the one before that is like the origin. So it's like, I think it's 1666. And it all kind of centers on this witch that died in this town years and years ago. And she just kind of fucks shit up every, decade or two. But I mean, it's fun. It's a fun horror movie. It's not particularly scary. Like I said, it doesn't skimp on the gore. The gore is pretty solid. At near the end of the first one, the bad guy in that scene takes a girl and he's trying to kill her, so he's pushing her on this thing, and it's a bread slicer, so it's got like 10 different blades, and it finally pushes her head through it, just like so her whole head gets mauled through a bread slicer.
I saw a video online that was like, would a head actually do this? And I guess it was from that, because it I'm sure the beginning of the scene of him pushing her in, and then it cut and was like, what would actually happen to a head if it? And I was like, what the fuck is that from? So now I know.
Yeah, I would imagine that it wouldn't be that strong, but because it's only supposed to cut bread, but who knows? But it was, like I said, it's fun. Like if you're looking for some entertaining campy horror that has a story that is going to go for a little bit, I'd recommend it. It's fun. I'm looking forward to actually watching the second one, and then hopefully I'll be still looking forward to the third one. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Cool. Anything else?
No, other than the stuff we're going to talk about later.
All right. Pete, anything?
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah,
Alex?
no, I do.
Oh, you do? Okay, go ahead. Sorry, my bad.
No, I finally watched.
I thought I saw you saying no.
It's chapters 1 and 2 back to back. I've been waiting to watch until I had the time to watch them, and I was very happy with it. There's some stuff they looked at that I can remember from the book. It's different than much different than the made-for-TV series that was so incredibly well done for the time that it was done and what they were able to do. Like, it was actually really, really good. Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise was really, really good. Like, I was happy with it because Tim Curry had been like
Tim Curry was Pennywise.
Yeah. Like, I mean, granted, he was the only one who'd ever played it on screen, but like you can't almost imagine anyone else doing it.
I never saw the miniseries.
Miniseries was dope.
Yeah, I don't think I would recommend watching it now, though.
Well, not yet. Not
It's not bad. I mean, it's not great, but it's not bad.
Yeah,
I saw the first one. I saw the first one. I haven't seen the second one though.
Second one's really good. They do a really good job with the way they do the flashback stuff, like the way they slide in and out of it. Both of these movies, the one thing I was struck by them, they are beautifully fucking photographed and lit. Mm-hmm. And I mean, they're, aside from the story and the way they do, really pay really good tribute to the book, but they're just gorgeous to look at. Like, they're throughout the whole thing, no matter what scene it is, there's you can see times at different filters that they use, and it makes sense for when they're using them, and all the camera work is just spot on for capturing every little emotional moment that's in there. And they're, at first it was interesting because I saw that like Brett Ratner and whole Rat Pack was part of the production team behind this, so it was kind of like, okay, this could be a little interesting. But it's aside from the horror aspects, they really do get into that, like the innocence of youth and that lost youth that are really kind of those central themes in the book. And I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. Basically, I am glad I waited so that I could watch them back to back, like I wanted to.
I heard the second one was like had a lot of humor in it.
Yeah, it's much more humorous than the first, but that's a lot of that's also because, well, no, you know what? The first one was actually really funny too. The kids, like, especially when if you know the characters and you know what they grow up to be, then the fucking kids are fucking hilarious. Finn Wolfhard, that transition from him into Bill Hader is fucking perfect. Like, you see, like, you look back and you're like, oh no, that was that character as a fucking kid. Like, Bill Hader's totally being the adult, and fucking Richie the same way. Like, yeah, absolutely.
For me, perfect. The only miss was Jessica Chastain. I thought she was not quite right.
No, she was a little, I don't want to say too pretty, but too, like, and I know that is part of the character and the way they did it, but she was still too suburban mom, where Beverly still always felt to me, even as an adult in the book, and this the miniseries missed this too to some degree, Beverly still had that edge to her that she had as a kid, as a tough girl, as an adult. And I don't think either of the books did that. I think they tried to soften her up as an adult so that she was a little more likable, because like the stuff they left out of the book, like the kids having sex and all the other stuff, there is part of Beverly that you're just kind of like,
no, but she was kind of Devil Wears Prada, like high level executive in New York City. Like, she was a shark.
Yeah, she was a badass.
Yeah, and they don't play any of that at all.
Which is interesting because Jessica Chastain could totally play that. You know what I mean? Like, she's got the chops.
Well, that's, if you haven't seen it, Molly's Game. I don't think
I've been
any of
meaning
us
to
have ever
watch it,
talked
but I
about that.
haven't
It's
watched it.
fucking phenomenal. Aaron Sorkin at his best, and she's amazing. We talk about that another night when somebody else watches it. Back to it. Anyway, if you like it, if you like the first one, and you like Stephen King, and you loved this book, you'll enjoy the movie. If you haven't seen them, they're really good. I was very happy with it.
I haven't read the book.
Oh, read the
book
book.
is fantastic.
Read the book, dude.
God, the book is so good.
It's the first Stephen King
Yeah.
book I ever
I'll
read.
get
It was
right
10
on
years
that.
old.
To, right?
That
I didn't
book
know that this
scared
was
the
a book show.
fuck
I know.
out of me.
See this show's changed, man.
Whatever.
Now we're talking
nerds.
about fucking books. Here's our next guest, Oprah.
That'd be pretty impressive. That would bump.
That
our
would
numbers
be
up.
actually. That'd be a good pull. That would be a good pull.
Don't make that joke unless you produce Oprah, man.
Yeah. No, I have read books. I'm just not. I don't see myself sitting down and reading it.
Yeah, it's only like 1,200 pages, so
Yeah,
or about
read
an
a few Stephen
afternoon.
King books.
It's dense.
But yeah. So all right. Anything else?
Yeah, I did. I just remembered I did watch one other thing. I was clicking through previews on Apple TV there, and I watched the preview for Dune, which looks fucking phenomenal. And it made me go back and watch the original Dune from the early '90s with Colin McLaughlin and
Sting.
And, Sting. Doesn't hold up that well.
Didn't then either.
I always
did
love
not
that
do
movie.
very well. Yeah.
No, that was definitely a. I remember when that movie came out, and I was in 6th grade, and I remember even then that it was one of those movies that people were divided. There's a definitive line. You either liked it because you got whatever the fuck they were trying to say, or you hated it. And
I think
book
that probably
is
depended
dense,
on
dude. The book is a very interesting read.
Yes,
People
I mean,
love
that's a
that
very
book,
science
but I
fiction-y.
haven't been able to read it because I hated that movie so much.
So if you read the book, you tended to like the movie more, even though there was so much that the book that the movie didn't have that was in the book. Just because it was a decent visual realization of what was in the book, and I totally get why people don't like it, especially if you've never read the book. It is the version he made. You need to have read the book to really get all the cool shit that's happening throughout the whole thing, because they don't do a good job of explaining. Yeah. I've read the first 3 in the series, God, Emperor, and I forget the third one, but they're fucking dense, and they
really are. And the book feels like it's relying on you to have already read the book. Like it's really weird. Like it's weird, dude.
No, it did. Like there's a fantasy book series called The Wheel of Time. That's actually they've got a show coming out on Amazon next year.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's in the back of those books. They have a fucking glossary, and a thing, because like by the time you get to the 6th book, there's like 1,100 characters that you have to keep straight. And this
you
book
don't have them all straight, Pete.
Oh, no, it's
I can tell you where every character is in every book.
Got like the first 500.
You got a timeline on your wall.
I actually, right above my head here, I have a whole bunch of signed first editions by Robert Jordan, the author.
Oh, we'll talk offline. We won't do the same. So anyway, it doesn't hold up that well, but I'm still after.
What are you talking about? Oh, Dune. That's right.
Dune. Yeah. I'm excited for the new one.
When it comes the new one has.
It looks like it's gonna be
at least like
cool.
It has a high production value. If nothing else, it looks very like it's.
I mean, honestly, I saw the preview as well, and it was like, I could give a shit about Dune, but I'm like, the preview was like, you call that anything else, I probably wouldn't care. So it's just, I might look at that as well. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it this week for me, though.
Well, thanks for that. Alex, you are up, sir.
I watched a lot, but I'll keep it quick. I have continued my journey with young Sheldon, so I'm still going through that show. Again, you were gone when I talked about it last time. You were gone for my entire thing, so just
that's true. I was gone for most of the show this week.
Yeah.
Which was far less video games than you anticipated.
I mean, we did do some game talk though. We kind of had to,
but I don't think it was anywhere near as much.
We stretched. I'm going to listen to it this week. I just completely forgot.
Well, I mean, you basically left the show that day, so like you were like, did we record?
I wanted to listen just so I could because there's a reason to listen. I didn't hear what the fuck was on it. So, but I just completely forgot that that's out.
yeah, Young Sheldon, I started a bit back now, and
Okay.
we're in season 2, and we're really enjoying it. It's a very cute show. The actors they picked are perfect, as I said last week, and honestly, really, really good. Like the mom constantly impresses with her acting chops. She's fantastic. And Young Sheldon, for kid actors, you get what you get, but he's actually really good too. I do see. Pete, I remember last week you said you watched a couple random episodes and you were kind of like, it was okay. There are definitely some episodes that hit harder than others, so you might have just got like a couple of bad ones.
Okay.
I think it's probably like because they have different directors. Like some of them are just edited and paced a little worse than others, but like when they're firing on all cylinders, it's a very good show. It's got some really endearing moments. It's really funny. So I do recommend it. Same as last time. I would say probably watch Big Bang Theory first, especially now in season 2. Like, because I said Jim Parsons narrates the show, and he's now like referencing things that happened in Big Bang, and he talks about like Leonard and other things like that. So if you haven't watched Big Bang, a lot of that would be lost on you. So it's fun. Like in season 1, we saw the first occurrence of Soft Kitty, the song that he always wants Penny to sing to. Like it's really cool to see stuff like that. It's like when the mom started singing that too, we were just like, it's Soft Kitty. Like we were just so excited because like it's all those little staples that are really fun. But I do. Oh, my cat just like started glaring at me because I said kitty. She's like, what the fuck, dog?
Yeah. So I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, idiot. So Young Sheldon, I recommend.
All right.
Another thing that happened this week, it's a little unorthodox, but they streamed something called WitcherCon. Did anybody hear about this or watch
I heard
this?
about it, didn't watch it, but I know they announced the season 2 start date for The Witcher.
Yes. So basically it was this, in my opinion, entirely too long online convention where they interviewed people from the show and people who worked on the game. The author of the books wasn't there, so they didn't talk to him at all. But it had some interesting parts for sure, but it was incredibly self-indulgent, and they talked a lot in ways that were like, we don't want to hear about this. We want to hear about stuff that like matters to us. Like they did this retrospective at CD Projekt Red, which is the studio that built the games. And they're like, we're going back in time and looking at all these historical moments. And it's kind of like, this is like looking at photos that I'm not in. I don't care. Like, tell me what's coming next. Like, what's the next thing? Like it was, they really spent a lot of time kind of patting themselves on the back. And I was just like, and the interviews were really too long and not edited down well. But there was some interesting stuff. The panel with the cast was decent. They had an interview with Henry Cavill by himself, which was good. And then they showed
At
the trailer.
The very end.
It was the second to last thing. It was that. And then he introduced the trailer for season 2, which if you have not watched it yet, I do recommend.
Yeah, I haven't. I need to go watch that.
Awesome. Has everyone here watched season 1? I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Has. Okay.
Of course.
I thought so. Just making sure.
Shirtless Cavill.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah.
Although that girl too, she was a surprise.
Oh, Anya, yeah. Yennefer. She is quite foxy.
Well, I remember when it started, I was like, I don't know about this girl because they still had her all fugly like.
Oh, her hunchback form. Yeah.
Yeah.
You saw her at the hunchback. You're like, I'm not sure about this one.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about this one, honey. Honey, come look at this one. I don't know.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I'm in. Let's go.
I mean, if we weren't together,
yeah,
I might.
Yeah, just a form. She can try a little harder.
Just a couple drinks. But yeah, watch the trailer for season 2. It looks fucking amazing.
All right, I almost got to watch season 1 because I still remember how the timeline.
That's true. I always meant to go
I'm
back.
definitely going to watch. I'm definitely going to go through season 1 again before it comes out, but it doesn't air until December, so we have some time.
Yeah.
That's when season 2 will come
I'm
out.
going to watch it again too because I watched the show, then played the video game, and then I think I've also read 1 or 2 of the books. So I have a much better understanding now, and now I want to watch the show and be like, okay,
yeah,
I want to get it.
Because I haven't read the books because I don't read a lot, to be honest. But I had played the game, and so even though they were jumping timelines, I still kind of understood what was happening. So I definitely can understand, like with that context, the show is much easier to digest. So yeah, WitcherCon happened. It was pretty whatever, but the trailer was cool. So check out that trailer if you have not seen it. I also watched the Monsters at Work show. It came out, the Pixar Monsters Inc. like post the movie, which is kind of interesting. It's actually pretty good. There's 2 episodes out, I think, at the moment. It's an interesting premise. There's a guy who's basically at Monsters University who graduates and gets accepted as a scarer at Monsters Inc. Basically at the exact moment that Mike and Sully change everything and turn it into a laughing factory as opposed to a scaring factory. So he's like, well, what do I do now? And it's like basically the story of him kind of dealing with that aftermath of, can you guys hear my cat meowing right now, by the way?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'm going to close the door.
Okay.
That's funny. I didn't actually.
Yeah, I'm assuming she's in heat.
Kevin is oddly attuned to that sound.
John,
Yeah.
Real quick, is she rubbing her asshole up and down the door? Yeah, she's in heat. Yeah, that's what's going on.
You just see her tail like come up and just start like.
She's singing a song from Cats.
Don't. Oh no, I like my cat. Don't do that. Yeah. So Monsters at Work. The first episode was actually really, really good. I enjoyed it. It was very funny. The new characters were good. They have Billy Crystal and John Goodman reprising their roles, which is super cool.
Why wouldn't they? I mean, seriously, nowadays,
right?
Like,
what else are those two doing?
How many celebrities do you think have a sound booth in their house somewhere?
Nowadays,
nowadays,
yeah.
I mean, Jesus Christ, talk about like I gotta go to work real quick, say a couple lines. All right, try to get out of here.
Yeah,
it's like
for something like that,
super high end, all the time voice actors had them at home before, but I guarantee everyone has one.
Well, if you don't have it for that, you have it for a podcast that you're doing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So,
but it was cool to see them, and they actually were in it a lot more than I thought they would be. I thought they were going to be like a quick cameo, and then you never see them again. But they're sprinkled throughout the entire thing. It's almost as much their story as it is this new guy's story. Episode 2, I'm not going to lie, it was pretty late at night, and I started watching it, and I fell asleep, and I didn't actually see what happened. But episode 1 was good, and Sam told me I didn't miss much in episode 2, so you can take that as you wish. But I
all right. Well, I trust Sam.
Give it a shot.
I know you're listening. I trust it. I know you might be watching too. So
she might be watching.
She might.
Let's see. I'll go through this one super fast. I watched the mini series on Netflix called Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. It's
I was gonna watch that
animated mini series. It's 4 half-hour episodes, which basically, if you just watch it in one shot, it's a 2-hour movie. It follows Leon and Claire, who are the protagonists from Resident Evil 2. So if you've played Resident Evil 2, which I know, Kevin, you have.
I have. I actually just got 4 in the mail, so I'll be starting that tomorrow.
Okay, perfect. Actually, finish 4 first, because this game does take place after 4, and it references 4, because Leon's the main character in 4. But if you've played 2, you could probably get away with watching it, but it is post 4. So, but yeah, it's interesting. It's all CG. It's like a gigantic 2-hour cutscene from a video game. It's well done enough. Like, it's not like Pixar or DreamWorks quality, but it's fine. Like, it didn't like take me out of it at any point. If you like Resident Evil, give it a shot. That's all I have to say about that. It's not terrible. It's not fantastic. So Opie,
but the
never
game's
watch it.
not the movies.
Well, it loses something not being a game. Like part of the whole thing about
but I'm saying, like,
if
you're a Resident Evil game fan, yes. If you're a Resident Evil movie fan,
I
nothing
see.
to do with
like
those,
the Mila Jovovich movies. Yeah, don't worry about those.
There's no tie in there.
Yeah. And then I'll just do one more thing. And of course, it's a video game, just so that I can watch Opie's eyes just roll back into his skull for a second.
I think my mom needs me again. I'll be back.
Yeah. See you in 20. There's a game that actually came out in 2019, I think, but they just re-released it for PlayStation 5. It was actually the free game of the month for PlayStation 5 called A Plague's Tale: Innocence.
Oh, it's free for 4 and 5, I believe.
Is it 4? Okay, I was gonna say if it's free for 4 too. Download this fucking game. I played it back in the day when it came out for PlayStation 4, but now playing it on 5, like they gave it some, it loads a hell of a lot faster and it looks a little prettier. But this game is excellent. Like it's
I've heard great things. Yeah,
it's so good. the general premise is you play this girl. She's like a teenager. Her name's Amicia. Men only.
Yeah.
But her name's Amicia, and she is she lives in France with her family, and it's basically the beginning of the Black Plague. And so the game is centered around her, essentially trying to protect her little brother during the Black Plague. So there's like the mechanics in the game are so cool because like at certain points in the game, you're surrounded by literally thousands of rats. And the way that the game mechanics work are they don't like light. So if you have like a torch, you can like get them away from you, or you'll have to use them in certain puzzles. Like it's not super combat focused. It's more stealth focused because you're like escaping like the Inquisition soldiers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like, it gets really interesting. Some of the mechanics, like you'll see a soldier and he'll be blocking your path, but he's like holding a torch. And so your character has like a slingshot and she'll like shoot the torch out. And then you'll just see rats like swarm onto the sky and just eat him in front of you. And then as they're doing that, you can like run past, because if you run past while they're in front of you, they'll just kill you. It's a really interesting game. The story is good. The characters are amazing. It looks beautiful. It's actually quite a bit longer than I expected when I initially started it. It's about 10 hours long. And I highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially if it's free. Just download it anyway and get to it at some point, because it's an incredible story. It's honestly reminiscent to a degree of The Last of Us, like, because you're the older protagonist protecting the younger protagonist. Don't, Opie, don't say anything. I see your face. Shush.
Shut the fuck up, Donnie.
What's The Last of Us?
The Last of
Go
Us.
fuck yourself. Don't jump on that train.
I mean, I don't want to.
He's been on it. He's been.
I don't
want
to get you going, but have you mentioned that before?
What is this game you're talking about?
You said it as if like a reference towards something that I would already know. So I'm just curious. I mean, sometimes I listen to the game stuff. I just wasn't sure if that was one of them.
Well, that's all the time we have for tonight, everybody. Thank you for listening. And this is the last episode. So we really enjoyed you.
It would be The Last of Us, wouldn't it? It would be The Last of Us.
God,
hey, actually, yeah, there you go. At least you said the title correctly this time.
For
The
once.
All right, so we are back. Hope you enjoyed that break as much as we did. Kevin, I believe we are starting with you. Thunderball.
Yes, I'll go quickly. This is the fifth Connery Bond. I think I only have one left after this. God, I hope that's true. I don't remember. I will tell you this. This is just like every other Bond movie so far. It is far too long. There's so much, far too long. There's so many scenes where just not shit is happening. It's fantastic. This one has one of the most ridiculous openings. It opens at somebody's funeral. I don't know who it is, but on the casket it starts off and there's a JB on it. You know, kind of implying that it's Bond, and then it pans up and he's looking out over the funeral, and then he says it's somebody else's name, and the girl he's with is like, oh, what a coincidence. And like, yeah, that's fucking dumb. And then he does some shit that pisses everybody off, so all the bad guys start chasing him out of this funeral, which is in like an old school like cathedral, and he runs out on the roof, and as he's running he gets to the spot and he picks up a perfectly placed rocket pack, puts on a rocket pack, and flies off the fucking roof to safety. Because it's my understanding that most churches have rocket packs in the corners of the rooftop. So
why not? Seems like a valid place to keep them.
Yeah,
that would be the best place if you're going to put them anywhere for sure.
Right. So real quick, you have 3 films to go.
Bullshit. Yeah, one of those is not Connery.
You only live twice.
Right.
You have that's the next one. Diamonds Are Forever.
That one's not Connery though, is it?
Yeah, it is. I'm looking at Sean Connery's fucking IMDb.
Oh,
Diamonds Are Forever, and then he does that one in between the Roger Moore's. And that was Never Say Never Again, 1983. You got 3, buddy.
I feel so hard for you, Kevin. Like this the fucking Roger Moore's dude was the same way.
Somebody's got to be hard for me.
It's like you saw the finish line. You're like, whoa, what's that say? First lap. Oh, mother.
Yeah, I'm like, fucking god damn it. Yeah.
I'm sure
like
they pick up after this.
Like, at least the story in this one is like, at times at least, is the most realistic. The idea is that Spectre is getting together and they're just trying to fuck shit up, right? And so their big plan, they steal a jet that has 2 nuclear weapons on it. And so, being the super villainous organization that they are, they're going to threaten to drop these nukes on either the UK or America. They won't say which one. And much like in Austin Powers, they want $1 million, right? They want their $1 million. $1 million. And so, like, that's the plot of the movie, and that's fine. I mean, that's bad guy organizations doing bad guy things in a less, weird way. But James Bond finds out about it initially because he's recovering in a day spa kind of place, just getting over his last mission. And of course, the Spectre drops off a body there of a guy whose face they are surgically putting on somebody else face off style so he can go steal this jet. And Bond notices. I believe in that scene before that might have been his one moment of rapiness in this movie. He is less.
Only one.
Yeah, he's less rapey in this one. He's a little more forceful in his personality. Like, there's a couple of times where he's just like, "We're gonna bang," and the girl's like, "What?" And then they just bang. She's like, "I don't know," and he's like, "Yeah, you know."
It sounds pretty rapey still.
It's more now. He's more mentally rapey than physically rapey. Like, he's not holding them down and forcing them to give it up.
Sure.
He's just breaking them down mentally now, because he's so suave. And so, I mean, most of this movie is just that stuff. It's not particularly impressive, and it's incredibly slow. At one point, the bad guys have almost caught him, and he runs into a very carnival-like situation. And it's like a 5-minute chase through this carnival parade of him, like, dodging in and out of like parade floats and people. And most of the footage looks like it was filmed at an actual carnival parade. And then they edited it into the movie to make it look more interesting. Like, it wasn't, there was like 2 different things that they cut together. So that was neat.
They did it much better at the Day of the Dead in Spectre.
Yeah. I'm sure that was the inspiration for this. And then ultimately he, they figure out what the bad guys are doing. Bond finds where, because when they steal the plane, they land it in the water in the Caribbean in some shallow water. So they do a water landing with this jet, and then it sinks. Then they cover it with some underwater camouflage. There's also a heavy instance of sharks in this one. There's a lot of shark overtones as weapons.
Shark laser beams attached to their heads.
Yeah, freaking lasers. No, they do not have lasers, unfortunately. But lots of sharks. Yeah. And so Bond figures out where the plane is. So that's when they send in their contingency of American and British troops to go now recover the bombs from the bad guys. And so when they go in, conveniently, Bond's entire team is all wearing bright orange, and the bad guys are all wearing black. So you can identify who is fighting who in this 15-minute underwater battle scene that is the slowest fucking thing I have ever seen. Like, it is so painfully slow. It's underwater, obviously shot in like an aquarium on a set. And I mean, it's so bad. Like, it's so slow. and it's not interesting. Are you hearing that slamming sound?
Yep.
Yeah. We're like, oh, where's
That's
that coming
one
from?
of my animals somewhere. I don't
That's
know
not,
what's
is someone
happening.
trying to break
Christ.
into your house?
Yeah.
That
like
doesn't happen here.
Stapling wire up along a wall or something.
Yeah, no, it's a cat bashing on a
Trying to get
cabinet
out.
door. Yeah,
It's slamming its whole body into a window with blinds that are down. That's what it sounds like.
that's an actual cabinet door. So, side note: when we moved across the country, we moved in an RV, and all my cats stayed in the bathroom of said RV to keep them separated from the dogs, because it was cheaper than trying to ship them.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it was actually not as bad as it sounds, but when we first got here, my cats would hide in every cabinet that they could figure out how to open because they had Stockholm syndrome from the trip. Like, it was hilarious.
The small places are better. The small places are better.
Yeah, exactly. But back to Bond. Ultimately, he saves the day, and then in what is an equally stupid move as to the beginning of the movie, he gets away with whichever girl it was. He changed girls like 3 times in this movie. And so they escape the battle. One of the planes from their cohorts drops a raft, right? And so they get onto the raft so they can wait for rescue. And the raft has this big balloon that Bond fills with helium, so it goes up into the air. And he ties himself to the string of the balloon. And so they're sitting there in the raft, and he's just there with the girl, and they're kind of snuggling up or whatever. And then a jet flies over and grabs the fucking balloon, and they get pulled off, and they're flying through the air attached to a rope instead of just being on the raft waiting for a boat to come by. It was like the dumbest escape at the end of the movie that I could possibly imagine.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah,
reminds me of when Batman caught all the balloons in his little scissors on the front of his plane in '89.
Except cool. That was cool. This was not cool.
This sounds super cool.
Or when Batman left China with that banker dude, caught the jet as he put his little
that's right,
balloon beacon in the air. Yeah. Well, that wasn't quick, but
that was quick. That was quick. That was like 3 minutes.
Check the tape.
Yeah,
check the tape. All right. Well, you got 3 more to go. So enjoy that.
Think that's true.
So
I'm gonna
7
check
total.
this later.
I wouldn't lie to you. All right, David.
All right.
Thrill us.
Yes.
With the process of 6.
The
I hope.
final...
God, I hope it was a piece of shit.
I know, right? Because you're gonna make me want to see it.
All right. So this last one starts off with a flashback scene, like the good old days.
Oh wait, real quick. Sorry. Is all this iPhone footage again?
Yeah. So we'll get to that.
Okay.
Don't get ahead of things.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I got a picture the kind of photography it is.
Well, it starts off with the closing scene to the 3rd film, which is the one where they're little girls and everyone ends up at the end of the film at Grandma Lois's house. The boyfriend Dennis gets bent in half and snapped and killed, and then Lois comes through and collects the girls, and then they leave. And so that's how it ends. And then you see the girls, it picks up later. They're a little bit older, and they're being taken to meet the teacher, who is this cult leader-like dude who is very creepy, who is teaching them all about, what it is to become part of the coven and the other things that they're going to do. What does it say? I got all this thing written down. He tells Christy that she is going to have a son for Toby, and that Katie is going to use her strength to help many people. And then that's pretty much how the intro ends.
Which lends itself even further to the, how do they not remember this when they're older?
Yes. Yes, 110%. How do they not remember any of this when they're older? It makes no sense. The first film and the second film are like completely undone by the third one, and then they just roll with that storyline from there on out. So we've got a new family, and the new family consists of Dad Brian, Mom Emily. They've got Uncle Mike, who's over all the time. Aunt Skylar. Auntie Skylar is, I think, either Emily's sister or Emily's best friend, and she's like auntie in like the family friend way. I was never clear, nor did I really care. And then there's a little girl named Leela. And so the beginning stuff is them like just doing cell phone footage. They don't even address why. It makes no sense why they're shooting cell phone footage in the beginning. But then they eventually find a box, and in the box is this like super tricked out, like big, huge production quality VHS player or VHS recorder. It's huge. And they pick it up, they turn it on, and they look through it, and they start to be able to notice the spectral emanations with this thing. They can essentially see Toby. And it's kind of similar to what you saw in the Xbox footage.
With all the dots.
Yeah. So it's kind of similar. It's indistinct and wavy and a big blob shape. And
this one's Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension?
Yeah, this is Ghost Dimension.
Are you looking up like the Rotten Tomatoes score right now or something?
Well, I'm just looking up the cast, and just so it's an hour and 28 minutes, if that tells you anything.
Well, there you go.
Exactly what you need to know.
Okay, so also along with this, they find all of the Katie Christie VHS tapes. These were last seen in the basement of the witch in the previous film. How they get here with this crazy VHS camera is no one has any fucking idea. They even talk about it. They're like, I don't know how this got here. This wasn't with our stuff and blah, blah, blah. So
that's what Toby brings to every house.
Yeah.
Video camera.
And they are the first owners of this house. This is a brand new house that they purchased. What else? Let me see if I can see what's going on. I got so many notes because even though I watched this yesterday, I don't remember anything until I read these notes.
Sign of a good movie.
Oh, they start to watch some of the tapes, and in one of the tapes, they keep putting Christy in a trance, and then Christy describes what she's seeing. And in this scene, she describes the little girl Leela's room like perfectly. And that kind of freaks them out a little bit because the tapes... they later determine, at this point they don't know, but they later determined were shot in 1992. So we'll refer to them as the 1992 tapes. But apparently in 1992, she was having a vision of precisely what Leela's room looks like. So that creeped them out. So they go upstairs to check on Leela and find that she has become friends with the emanation known as Toby. Now, again, they have the camera so they can see that she's like talking to the cloud thing. It always books it when they come into the room, but they can see that she's talking to it. So they start setting up they at first set the camera up in the living room at night, and you get the classic Paranormal Activity static room sleeping fucking awful shit again.
All the stuff you hated from the first one.
Yeah. And slowly throughout the film, they start to add more cameras because they understand that while this camera is the only one that can see the ghost, the other cameras will pick up, the other shit moving and whatnot. And they use it to pretty good effect. Like the ghost Toby grows and gets like more evil and menacing over the course of the film. And the camera that can see him does a really cool job. It's always in a good spot. So that part's pretty cool. Let's see what else. They later find Leela chanting Bloody Mary in reverse into the mirror, and then they decide to watch the tapes some more to see if that's normal. And they notice the girls playing, Christy and Katie playing Bloody Mary in one of the tapes. And they also notice Toby being referenced a lot. And not only do they have the tapes of the little girls when they are with the creepy people, they also have the 1988 tapes, which essentially amounted to the third film. So they have the footage from the third film, all of that raw footage to watch as well. So they kind of see that family struggle with Toby. And then later they watch the cult-like films and they see her like becoming friends with Toby. And then they check on their girl and she's becoming friends with Toby. So they start to get concerned. They get more concerned when they catch her on video sleepwalking into the living room and trying to burn the mother's Bible. She's pulling pages out and she's trying to light them. Mom catches her. Mom goes to pull her out, and Toby tries to kill the mom with the gas fireplace. Like it like blows up real big, almost takes her face off. But she manages to get away, and then Toby knocks the angel off the top of the tree. Which they then take, is like, okay, shit's going down here. This is not right. Clearly, the
fire thing wasn't a clue.
The fire thing wasn't, but the angel being knocked off. They're like, clearly, this is an evil being in some
way. As a cat.
Yeah, there's a bad gas line.
So they go back to the tapes, and they start watching more of the Christie tapes. Now, I say most of the time it's the dad, Brian, and his brother, Mike, and these like two dumb middle-aged guys running around doing stuff. That is a majority of the film. So they go back to watching the tapes, and this time Christie in a trance is describing the room they're standing in. And she describes it perfectly, and then to really set the creepy part, Mike sneezes, and she says, "Bless you," right afterwards on the tape. So that really freaks them out. Then they go upstairs later, like the next day or so. This all happens really fast. Like by the end, like the last day, it's like day 6. Like this shit happens fast.
Well, they only got an hour and 28 minutes, so.
Well, yeah, but usually like by the time you're like day 29, like it's been a slow build. This one, no slow build. It's really fast. So they get up to Leela's room and they find that there are symbols drawn. If you look on the video, you can see them kind of around that portal there.
Yeah.
There are symbols drawn on the wall, arcane symbols up and over, symbols that they have seen in the Christie Katie tapes and in the research that they've been doing about the cult that they were in. So,
and of course they're in Sharpie.
Yeah, and they don't. They don't bother to try and paint them away or move her out of this room. Yeah. Instead, they put the fucking camera in the room so that they can see Toby talk to her in the middle of the night. So
Toby's an okay guy.
It's just good parenting.
They leave him there.
It's Toby.
So after finally the symbols show up, the mom's like, "We need a priest." So she starts calling around. She finally gets a priest to show up.
Now you need a priest.
Yeah.
1-800 dial a priest.
That's right.
Yeah. I need you to come help my young daughter. Wait, hold on.
After the fire,
oh my God,
blew her face off. That wasn't enough, but eventually she gets there. So she gets, and he takes a look and he says, "Okay, this is clearly a demon. Demons feed on fear, and the more attention you pay them, the faster they grow and the bigger they get." He's like, "And you can go wherever you like. It's just going to follow you. It's like we have to do something about the demon." And then
thanks, Debbie Downer. Jesus.
Yeah, and then Leela promptly bites the priest, of course, and so he flees because he's been.
Doesn't that mean he's going to be possessed now? Isn't that what biting means?
Head? Come on, man.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the priest know that?
Sorry, I'm really
you're invested
in these movies.
So later, they after doing a bunch of research, they find out that Katie and Christie's house burned down in 1988, and then they went elsewhere, and then that's where the 1992 tapes happened. But their house apparently was right where this house is. They do find a tape amongst all the other tapes of the cult leader guy going through this house as it was just finished, going, "Oh, I like this detail work. This will be great to bring him through." And so now they're all freaked out they try and call the real estate agent, and after doing some research, find out the real estate agent is Katie. Katie sold them the house. No one at the agency has any idea who she was or how she got there or anything about this house.
Toby's your problem now, bitch.
Yeah, they are super freaked out because they've got this house that appears to have been custom built by a cult to bring some sort of demon through.
Which was not disclosed.
Which was not disclosed, God damn it. And this is California.
Yeah. Oh, she's getting sued.
That kind of stuff.
Katie,
you're
fucked.
Yeah, you got to get Karen on this situation. I need the blueprints for this house immediately.
They're so pissed. They're gonna ask Toby for the number.
That's right. So they get doing some more research, and they find out that Hunter was born on the exact same day at the exact same time that Leela was born, and that they are therefore twin born. And while doing their research, they find all of this stuff on Katie and with Hunter, and the last known picture of Hunter and all of that stuff from when he was like, what was it, 6 in the 4th film? I don't know. They're all starting to blend together. But they look at that picture, and then they realize that he is in the 1992 tapes.
Where are they doing this research on these people?
Oh, just the internet.
Okay.
Oh, but they're also called
the library.
Yeah,
I mean, library.
with Katie, like she like murdered her boyfriend and then murdered her sister and her brother-in-law and stole a baby, right? So like that shit's all over the news.
She's a kid. That's what you do.
So now all of a sudden they're seeing Hunter in tapes that were shot 13 years before he was even born. And then, of course, that night, the portal door opens, dun, 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 like on the painting on my thing.
Oh, okay.
And Leela goes in, and she travels.
They still let her in that room. They keep her in the room.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. But they got the camera there so they can see it the whole time. So they come running in because they know something's going wrong. Not that they can like monitor the camera because the thing's ancient, right? And so they get in there, and the wall's normal again. She's just gone. They have no idea where she is. They spend all this time running around. They eventually find her in her bed, and you're like, okay, great, that's fun. So they pack her up. They're like, this.
Oh, they're all, good night, honey. They shut the door, go back.
So they leave. They're like, that's it. We're getting out of this house. So they all go to a hotel, and they send Uncle Mike and Skylar back to get the research material and a couple other things, get the camera, and then get out. So they come back, and they're doing all of that stuff.
Fuck that.
And they determine through their research that they think that they are trying to use Leela and Hunter to, because they're twin-borns, to give a body to Toby. That is the plan of the midwives, is to give Toby his own adult human body. And they can do that by using these twin-borns. They then hear a whole bunch of noise and go upstairs to find Leela in her room trying to like physically dig into the wall to get the portal to open again. She's like trying to dig it open. She was, you later find out, 6 miles away with her parents. And by the time her parents got the phone call, they had seen her 2 minutes previously. So somehow she traveled 6 miles in a minute or so and then tried to dig through a wall.
Uber, man. Uber is on.
They are very efficient. Let's see what else. They contact the priest again. The priest comes over, and he was like, okay, an exorcism is not enough. We need to do an extermination. We need to kill this goddamn demon. So they get together.
He's like a contractor. No. You're going to need to blow out this entire wall.
Yeah. So they get everything together, and they form it all up, and they go to make the attempt. And Toby takes out the priest, right? Just like grabs him and yanks him down the hallway. But then when he turns to come to get them, he does get caught in the trap. And so they throw like sheets soaked in holy water on him. And you're thinking, oh shit, this might work. And then all of a sudden there's sizzling, and then the sheets, like they drop to the ground. Boom. And you're like, oh, sweet, they got Toby. So then they get close to check out what happened. and you think, is Toby dead? No, he just jumped down Skylar's throat. She turns to Mike, vomits acid all over Mike, and the two of them drop dead.
Where
Now
did the acid
Toby,
come
from I guess it was Toby turned into acid when he was in her, and then she vomited him back out onto Mike, and then Mike
Not familiar with
died from the
demons?
Toby
Duh.
acid. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So now they're all running, and as they're running away, the mom's got the camera this time. She turns back to look at the dad.
Yeah,
and
you
then
never want to let go of the camera. You
No.
want to keep that going.
Of course, yeah.
In this YouTube generation.
Well,
fucking
because they want us to be able to
narcissists.
see Toby, right? He's still a ghost.
I was gonna
this
say, at
point.
least in this one, they have a reason to have the camera on so they can see.
Because she could see it. So she gets a perfect view as Toby's hand goes shooting through her husband's chest and sticks out the other side. And Toby's like 14 feet tall now because, they fear him so much. And so he's dead. So she goes running. She gets upstairs and she finds that the portal's open again. So she, of course, goes through the portal.
Why not?
Of course, right?
YOLO.
And she finds herself on the other side in the 1988 version of the home. And you're like, okay. So she is running through the house trying to find Leela.
Wood paneling everywhere.
Yeah, she finally finds Leela and is like relieved to find that she's still alive. And there's a whole bunch of creepy little kids, like the two in the photo from last time with like the blanked out eyes and shit. All the girls are there, Christy and Katie, and like they're all in that basement. And they're just keep telling her it's too late, it's too late, it's too late. And so she gets to Leela, and Leela says, "Oh, they just needed a drop of my blood." And then like you see legs, like male legs, and then Toby, of course, kills her, and then that's the end of the film.
What? Already?
Yeah, Toby has a body now, but in 1988.
Do you think there's gonna be another one then?
There is
There
another
is,
one
next
It's
year.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, we'll look forward to that.
Gotta find out what happened to Toby.
Yeah, come
Well,
this far.
how is it even paranormal anymore? He's a fucking human now. He's not even a ghost
Now
anymore.
it'll be just activity.
Yeah, it's just activity. Toby activity.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
I don't know. This one
Paranormal
was
activity,
a total
new man
shit
in
pile.
town.
Like this one was not entertaining. It was a ton of exposition. I spent so much time writing because it was just like exposition. They're just trying to build the mythology. They really went back to all of the shit that didn't work in the beginning films. You've got the slow pans, across the empty room and the clock ticking as as it fast forwards. It's so much boring stuff. The characters aren't particularly likable in this one. You just don't care about them. Both Mike and Brian are just kind of dumbasses. Skylar is attractive, but she's barely in the film, and she doesn't really have much of a personality. So
Yeah.
just like,
She was on The
you
Magicians.
guys-
I wasn't a big fan of her on that either.
yeah, you guys just missed. It was a miss.
Swing
So-
and a miss.
Darn
Well,
it.
They all,
No,
They all
not
can't be
particularly
winners.
good.
Now you gotta wait for the next one.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah.
they can bring you back in.
so after,
Well, I
and then
mean, I'll
after you
watch it at
that
this
one, you can
point, and I
spin.
think I'll probably watch it in a theater, like on opening night, just to get like the crowd experience.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
But that's it. I'll be there alone. No one else in my family. My wife specifically wanted it known. I asked her if she would watch it with me, and she said no. Even actively ignoring it, it's an annoying film.
But a glowing
All
review.
right.
Yeah.
Well, that leaves Pete and the Jurassic Park and World Series. Go ahead.
You sure you don't want to save this for next week?
Go quick.
It's not okay. It's a dinosaur. All right.
It's four movies, man. It's not gonna be quick. So
Yeah, that's what I'm
strap
saying.
in.
It's gonna be quick enough.
All right. So, Jurassic Park 2: Lost World. I absolutely loved this movie.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. This movie is fucking bullshit.
You know what we should do?
This is
What you
just an
should
emotional
do-
roller coaster already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From this point on, you should just cut and paste the episode that we did about Jurassic Park, your comments, because I think you're gonna make all the exact same ones.
Yeah, you have to go scrub through, find everything you said there.
I just recently listened to that episode
and then paste it into just an incoherent
just kind of
string of comments. What's going on?
Why is this episode 4 hours?
That would just be hilarious.
Edit it.
That'd be so meta and funny.
We don't cut him off though. If we don't stop cutting him off, we're never gonna get through this.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
All right.
That's my point, David. We already did this.
Peter.
Hammond's nephew is now in charge of InGen and wants to revitalize the company by stealing dinosaurs off the second site, Isla Sorna. Hammond talks Ian into going back because his girlfriend, played by Julianne Moore, is already there taking pictures. She's a paleontologist. He just wants to study the dinosaurs so that they can get
I would say he talked him into it as much as he manipulated him into it.
Yeah.
Is this the one with the girl, the gymnastics?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
His daughter who fucking stows away.
Yeah. Spoilers. Don't jump ahead, Kevin.
My bad.
You ruined everything tonight.
That's the one thing a Velociraptor never saw coming. A parallel bar.
That's true. It would have never evolved to defend itself against that.
Exactly. So how could it even know? It's like guns I got, but what the fuck is she doing?
Yeah.
Oh, spinny kick, hey. Sorry, Pete. Get used to this.
So he gets manipulated into going. He goes to the island. They discover his daughter's there. He sees Julianne Moore. They encounter dinosaurs. They've got Vince Vaughn with them, who's just supposed to be a nature
He's
photographer.
like the cameraman or whatever, right?
Yeah, he's a photographer.
He's a photographer. And then they go and they find out that the InGen team is already there, getting ready to ship these dinosaurs off the island. So they figure they have to go stop them. So they go over there, and then all of a sudden they're like, what do we do? And Vince Vaughn is like, well, this is why Hammond sent me. And you expect that he's like some sort of ranger or something posing as a photographer.
Yeah, like undercover, like a ninja or some shit.
No, he's just an eco-terrorist guy, and basically all he does is fucking cut a lock with some bolt cutters. Like you're expecting him to pull some sort of shit out of his backpack that's gonna scramble electronics or something. No, they free the dinosaurs.
Berkeley.
Yeah, it tramples the fucking camp, and so now they have no way of contacting anyone to get off.
I feel like this was the enthusiasm of the pitch meeting for this too.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Yes, let's do this." That sounds great.
It's just bad. I mean, there's a horrible scene where they're in this truck that's got 2 different sections to it, and it's falling off a cliff, and they're holding onto a rope, and the truck winds up falling off of them, and they miraculously make it all the way through.
That's the T-Rex scene, right?
Yeah,
I remember thinking that scene was cool when I was younger. I haven't seen that movie in a long time.
I thought that movie was fine up until the gymnastics scene / coming to San Diego.
Yeah.
When they got
that's where it really fell off a fucking cliff, and much like that trailer. I mean, that was basically a foreshadowing of what the rest of the movie had in store for you.
Yeah, it's like the ghost boat fucking smashes into the harbor.
All their equipment and plot just went right off that cliff.
Yeah, and then surprise, the T-Rex is now running loose through San Diego.
Mm-hmm.
I was so just unfocused on this movie at this point because it was just so bad that I forgot how they downed the T-Rex in this one.
They put the baby. They drive the baby into the little.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. There's a whole thing with the fucking baby T-Rex.
Are you watching this right now while we're talking about this, Opie? You're like, they put the baby in the theaters.
No, I have such an imprint of this. I remember shit like nobody else. Like if something is really bad, I remember how bad it is and why.
Pete Postlethwaite is one of the guys that comes down there, and he's like the great white hunter, and his whole fee for the entire trip and the entire expedition that he's getting paid is he just gets to hunt a T-Rex. Well, they find an injured baby T-Rex, and so they're using that to lure the T-Rex the whole time. and the baby T-Rex kind of like becomes the pet. And then then in the end, that's right, they lure the T-Rex back onto the ship that way. It's fucking stupid. Like the whole movie's stupid. Like the getting to San Diego part is probably the worst part of it overall.
For sure.
But there's like you'd hope that fucking Jeff Goldblum would have at least saved it a little bit more. He just got annoying. Actually, the Ian character was just like what made him so fun in the first one, and like the little bit that he's in the the future with, he's just annoying. Like he almost turned like
I remember
Gilbert
him being
Godfrey.
Yeah, he was very
like,
different in the second one compared to the first one. I remember that much.
And I get that, like he's supposed to have evolved after it's like 4 years since they've been on the island and all the bullshit they saw, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
but it's still it doesn't land. None of the emotion lands. None of it. Everything that was good about the first one is completely gone in the second one. Like this is easily one of the worst sequels to a great movie ever. That's enough about that one. On, unless anybody else has anything else to say.
Number three.
On to Jurassic Park 3. The best thing about this movie is that it's only 93 minutes long.
Is it really?
Down from the bloated 2 hour 9 minutes of 2. This one has an even worse bullshit plot that
the talking raptor.
So
Alan.
Well, that's in a dream.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
So fucking bad. So this kid and his fucking stepdad, mom's boyfriend, are parasailing near the island. And
which, if we learned anything from earlier, that's deadly.
Yeah, they're gonna die doing that shit.
So dinosaurs attack the boat, and the parasail, they wind up cutting themselves free, crash landing on the island. Cut to Alan Grant is back, and he of course needs funding after giving this speech about how velociraptors were these incredibly intelligent creatures, blah blah blah. He's got this assistant Eric on the dig who works with him. All of a sudden, William H. Macy and Téa Leoni show up at his dig site and promise to fund him fully for this dig if he will just fly by the island and point some things out to them. If they're trying to, they're like lying to him about why they actually want to go. They're just posing as like really rich people. So they fly to the island. He's got these like 3 mercenary guys with them. They wind up landing on the island over his objections. They knock him out. Yeah, they knock him out. They get off the plane, and within 10 minutes of being off the plane, a fucking Spinosaurus comes and attacks and winds up making the plane crash after eating, I think, one of the mercenary thugs.
Well, Téa Leoni is on the bullhorn yelling,
screaming.
So stupid.
Like a fucking idiot. So they finally admitted to Grant why they're there, and he reiterates to them, "I was only on the other island, not this island. I am just as fucking lost as you are." They wind up getting lost in the fucking jungle. They of course almost immediately run into fucking raptor nests, somehow as they're looking for the kid. Eric steals 2 raptor eggs, which you don't know about till later, but then the raptors are hunting them. At one point, the party split from Dr. Grant, and Dr. Grant is saved by the kid who is in a ghillie suit that he made. He's somehow, it's like fucking the first year of Alan Partridge in the first Jumanji movie, what it must have been like for him. Like this kid has somehow survived like 8 weeks around all these fucking dinosaurs.
8 weeks.
It's like
8 weeks.
It's
you
fucking,
think he'd been there for 4 years?
Yeah, the way he's got this thing, like he's totally like almost feral at this point, but is like figured this whole thing out, and you're just like bullshit. Yeah, this kid is fucking dead.
Yeah, he'd be dead for sure.
Dead. Like you look at what he would have had to walk through to get there. That they show you.
But he read his book. Done. He read his book. That's all you need to know.
So he rescues Grant, and then Grant. The big thing this time with the raptors with Grant is he notices that they talk to each other, like they vocalize and they have speech and communication.
Communicate, yeah, they can communicate.
And then there's the raptor in the dream. Oh god,
Well, yeah, they don't speak English.
Yeah. Oh, and just before. Oh, yeah. And before they leave on the little thing, Eric, the assistant, has somehow secured. They're completely low on funding, but they have a 3D printer. Before 3D printers were like affordable for people, and so he has 3D printed the like resonating chamber from the raptor, so you can make raptor noises with this. Foreshadowing.
It's like a duck call.
Basically, yeah.
I would have loved it if they blow into it and it goes, Alan.
That dream sequence.
I need that to be like an edit that someone makes.
I'd rather see that he blows into it, this big scene, and they just fucking rush and tear him the fucking shreds.
So he somehow uses that to imitate like the danger call or one of the other calls that he's kind of like figured out through with
help.
His paleontological.
He said help.
That's it. Yeah. And they wind up leaving them alone, and
so it's a translator as well. That's what you're missing, because he says help into the fucking thing, and it the breath, and they're all like, oh, help. So they run off and find help, I guess.
Well, that's help comes in the form of they wind up making a call to the other doctor. I'm forgetting her name now. Laura Dern from the first movie.
Ellie Sattler, man.
Ellie Sattler. Yeah.
So he trusts Ellie, so he calls her, and she calls the Marines. They make it out to the beach, and the Marines are there.
No, the Marines representative shows up in a fucking briefcase. It's like, what? Yeah, what? If I wasn't Alan, were you gonna go fuck off?
Right. This movie, this felt like we got you guys under contract for one more movie for the end of a trilogy. So give us a script.
You know what's funny is,
and then they made it.
As bad as it is, I would watch that one again before I'd watch number 2.
Yes, completely agree.
Really?
Yeah. I think overall the movie is just more like, it's more entertaining to watch, like just to watch the story. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's more entertaining and less of like go fuck yourself moments like number 2 has. Number 2 just angers me at when they're on their way over to the US.
It's so bad.
By that point, I'm like, I'm finishing my popcorn. I'm looking at my watch. Yeah. Much like the next 2 you're about to describe.
All right, Jurassic World. Cut to however fucking many years later. InGen has now created Jurassic World on the other side of Isla Nublar. It's doing incredibly well. You've got Bryce Dallas Howard running it, and her 2 nephews are coming to visit for the weekend because she's like the head of the park. We've all seen this one.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Don't forget her boss that just happens to be taking helicopter lessons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can fly a helicopter.
For the sake of time, what did we hate about this movie other than everything?
The conception, pretty much the whole meaning behind it.
Jurassic World isn't very good, but it didn't bother me nearly as much as I think it bothered everybody else here.
Oh my god, it's so stupid.
Like I watched it and I was like, all right, like that was a movie. Like I wasn't like,
okay, that was a movie.
I wasn't like mad like with the next one. Like
that's the same one where she opens up the T-Rex's door and stands there and then runs
the flare.
And she's running in her heels and he's just going to trot along. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to eat this. I see this over here. It's like, oh, come on.
He knows that's the boss, man. He's like, if I eat her, I'm out of a job.
Oh my god, yeah. There's no way I'm getting a raise if I eat her.
Yeah.
I'm not getting the big pen by eating the boss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. No more goats for me.
Yeah. I'm not getting my 5% cut on the merch if hurt the boss.
Yeah, the subplot with Vincent D'Onofrio being like the military arm of Indian, trying to weaponize the dinosaurs.
Oh,
and that is just so bad. And
the dinosaur calls and like the dinosaur hunting party and Blue. Yeah. I love Blue. Oh Jesus!
Yeah, driving the motorcycle with his raptors next to him. I'm like,
domesticated T-Rex or a Velociraptor.
Yeah, and the Indominus Rex. I mean,
it's basically the only way they could make Godzilla without making Godzilla.
Yeah,
like
it all it needs to do is fucking like breathe fire. And what happened to Mike there? Opie? still?
I got bugs in here.
Oh,
Keep
okay.
going.
Yeah, this movie, I agree with you. It didn't bug me as much as the next one. It's just, it was so full of holes and just preposterous things that, you know, the kid, oh my God, I get it. Your parents are getting divorced. I've been there, but you are the whiniest fucking bitch on TV for a kid actor. Like that kid was just so fucking annoying.
Which one was that?
The youngest one, the younger
one.
brother.
No, which movie?
We're still just on
yeah.
Okay.
World.
Yeah.
The brothers.
Yeah. So yeah, we basically covered that. It's just we've all seen it. It wasn't horrible, but it wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination.
No, it was horrible.
Yeah, I might argue horrible is.
You're fair. That's fair.
The only reason
the next one's even worse. That's fair.
The next one is the worst. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
But the only reason it is all preposterous and stupid. But if you just accept that, there are really cool scenes in World, like Blue and the T-Rex versus Indominus at the end.
That was fun.
It was awesome. Like I love that scene.
When the fucking giant water dinosaur, when the giant water dinosaur comes out and fucking
it's so stupid. But I'm just like,
I just heard this episode. I just re-listened to this episode. You guys said the exact same thing. I swear to God, you said the same thing.
Hey man, consistency is key.
Yeah, at least your opinion. Yeah, go back and Pete's opinion is completely different. He's like, I really like the Jurassic World.
No, it was. I do remember. If you go back, I do remember the time liking it a lot more than I do subsequently watching it, and that might have been just because of the spectacle of it on the big screen, and it was just kind of fun to see the dinosaurs again like that and what they've done with it, and that was kind of cool. But like to watch it again, it's just not good.
Yeah, I can say I have not watched. I mean, I watched it in theaters. And that's when I was like, yeah, that was fine. And then I think I watched it once after that, not in theaters, and I haven't seen it since. It's been a minute. So, yeah.
I saw it once, not in theaters, and that was it.
Yeah.
So, on to Lost World, Jurassic
Fallen
crap.
Yeah, franchise.
Oh, Fallen King.
Yeah.
I think you made that joke last time, too.
I did.
Probably, yeah.
That's why I didn't put so much oomph behind it this time. I don't like repeating my jokes. I just remembered.
Then why are you on this show? All we do is talk about the same shit.
Yeah. Well, that's it. I talk about the same shit, but I don't try to say the same thing.
I will say this. I would rather watch this than say Batman versus Superman.
No fucking way.
Fuck
no
you.
Fucking way, dude.
How dare you?
No way.
That's just, I mean, that makes sense that you would say that, but that's totally wrong.
No.
I mean, that's
shirtless Cavill alone propels that movie over Fallen Kingdom.
No, so back to Fallen Kingdom. It's just a horrible movie from beginning to end. I don't buy for even half a second that fucking Bryce Dallas Howard is now just the head of a non-profit trying to save dinosaurs.
They just switch characters. Her and Chris Pratt between movies. Like she's like the I don't care about the dinosaurs person in World. And he's like, we got to save him. And then in this one, she's like, we got to save him. And he's like, I don't care.
These are
and I'm
fucking
like,
animals.
What? Like, what happened? It's so...
Yeah.
God, so they didn't even watch the last one before they made this one.
Yeah, of course not. No, yeah. They knew what they made. They were there. They're like, I'm not watching that.
Yeah.
There's just so much about this one that's so bad. Like, I can't.
Kevin's really pissed right now. He's like, I'm staying up for this bullshit.
It's from the cloned granddaughter to the fucking, the getting off the island and that hideous attempt at some sort of fucking feeling when the brachiosaur is like burning on the dock.
That actually did make
slow motion.
Yeah, I can tell you that landed because my son bawled his fucking eyes out and we almost had to leave the theater. So that part.
You
worked.
mean you almost got to leave the theater?
Yeah. So close, darn it.
To the whole taking them back to the secret genetics lab underneath the giant mansion in somewhere in Northern California.
Yeah,
they never quite tell you. It's just somewhere in Northern California. And then the dinosaurs are now like people have bought dinosaurs. They we're building a super raptor that thank God died. There's a T-Rex running around.
Well, like all those dinosaurs got out at the end, if I remember right.
Yeah,
Right?
no, they all
in
like
the world.
everything that they were able to save.
Yeah,
got out, and
there's like 40 dinosaurs, 30 or 40 dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's a lot.
I'm. This movie almost turned me off to the idea of the one that's coming out, Dominion, because after watching this again, I was like, I really don't even need to see the next one.
Well, I thought the only good part of this movie was the fact that they set up dinosaurs in the regular world. Like the very end, I was like, oh, that might be interesting next time. Like it took them 2 hours to tell me a thing that I was like, that might be cool. Like, but it just, ugh.
I would, if they, I hope that the next movie just goes so far off the fucking reservation and makes it like some sort of dystopian dinosaur Planet of the Apes fucking thing going on, where like the dinosaurs have super multiplied and we're now battling against them.
And then they can talk again. They can bring back Alan. They can bring that back.
Yeah, they have to fight him in space like Fast and Furious 9.
Oh god damn!
That's right.
I'm surprised the flock of Velociraptor didn't show up in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and Blue, the videos of him, like Chris Pratt, by the way, like we talked about at the beginning, was fucking horrible in this. In both of these movies.
He's not a good dramatic actor, and I don't know why people keep giving him roles where he's.
I don't think he's a good anything actor. I think he had one good role in him or two. He had Andy Dwyer and Star-Lord, and that's it.
And Emmett from the Lego Movie. Got to give him that.
That's true.
Emmett is really good.
Okay.
But that's who he's a lovable idiot. Like that's the only thing he can play.
Yes.
Just give him that and he's fine. If you try to stretch him just a little bit, he starts falling apart like really quickly.
Like I bought Bryce Dallas Howard as the chick running the fucking amusement park. I didn't buy him as an animal behaviorist. And then the next one when he's building the fucking house. It's just So worst movie of the fucking series. It's really sad because this is one that starts off like the entire series with one phenomenal movie, and then they just like stay pretty bad.
It's like Predator, man.
Wow.
Starts off with an incredible movie, and then they just kind of suck a lot of ass after that.
But at least Predator 2 like wasn't such a huge step down.
Yeah, yeah. It's not as big of a step down for sure. I'd agree with that.
Yeah. So I am actually very glad to be spinning this evening.
High School Musical needs to go.
Yeah, you can take High School Musical off there. You just passed it.
Why would you take it off? It hasn't been selected before.
Oh, it has.
Oh, yes, it has.
I don't know.
What did I miss?
High School Musical.
Oh, it's still on here. Oh, I would take it off.
Why would you do that?
Right there.
No one has got it before.
You have it.
Go watch Cats, Kevin. It's been like a month now.
Pete,
take as long as
David,
you
are you guys adding anything?
What did we need to add? There was some stuff to add, wasn't there?
We added some stuff, but do you have a franchise you want to add before you spin?
Yeah, we did all the Star Treks last time.
Yeah.
There was something else I forgot that we talked about that I wasn't sure if we added or not.
I'll just, you know what? I'll fucking add the Jay and Silent Bob trilogy.
Jay and Silent Bob trilogy. What would that consist of?
Oh no, wait, that's right. There's only two of those.
I was gonna say there's
there's
Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, and then
there's Reboot.
Yeah,
the Reboot's not worth watching. That's just mean and torturous to people.
That's a punishment movie for sure.
Yeah.
Let's see, Taken's on there. Rocky, Die Hard, Indiana Jones.
Yeah, I keep seeing. I'm looking at stuff here too.
All right, if you don't have anything, then we won't add anything. That's fine. Okay. Who's going first then? You guys want to? I'll think of a number and.
Dave, you just go first.
Sure, why not? I'll go first. I don't care.
All right, David, are you ready, sir?
I don't know. Let me see. Let me look at my horror in person before you click it. All right.
Didn't we decide last week when David wasn't here that he was just doing all the horror franchises anyways?
Yeah, that's right.
Made that executive decision.
We assigned that to you.
Smokey and the Bandit. Oh, I'm kind of excited about that one.
No, the third one is.
Can I ask you something real quick, Opie? Did you on purpose make the Superman slice blue and red, or was that just a happy coincidence?
I think I made that one on purpose.
Okay.
Some of them I made on purpose. I don't remember though, because I had to redo
Fantastic
it.
Beasts is only 2 films.
That is true.
That does not currently meet our criteria.
It's only 2. I thought there's 3.
No, the third one's on the way.
Mhm.
No,
There's
that
only
second
2
one's so
films.
awful it might seem like 2, but it is not.
Okay, let me take it off then. Hold on.
There it is.
Fantastic. All right.
Not so fantastic anymore.
You left it the color of shit, I saw.
It's just beasts.
All right. Here we go.
All right, come on, Die Hard.
Oh,
Come on, Taken. You know, I can handle Die Hard. That last one's awful,
Yeah.
yes, but I love the others.
I'm praying for the Alien movies. That's what.
No, just stop. Don't keep going.
Oh!
I could deal
wow.
with this
man.
last terrible one. I didn't have to deal with
I know.
Shrek.
That's
I don't know,
that's
dude.
3 really good movies and 1 really bad one.
Yeah.
But that's
I've
still
only
like
seen the
tolerable.
bad one once, so I'm actually looking
Yeah,
forward to seeing
me
it
too.
again because I want
the
to carry
theater.
a new asshole because I hated it so much when I saw it the first time.
Oh, it's Indiana Jones, by the way, for our audio listeners who can't fucking see
Oh,
what we're
yeah.
talking about.
Oh, yeah.
all the time.
Sorry, he got Indiana Jones as his franchise. So all except for that last one are definitely watchable.
Indiana
So, not
Jones
bad.
is fun because that first movie's really good.
Yeah,
Really good.
I like the second one
Yeah.
too. I mean,
Temple
it's not
of,
great, but
of
I
Doom
like-
is
I like it.
fine. I don't love it. But then my favorite's the third one.
Yeah, for sure.
And
They
then-
should have
yeah.
stopped there.
Crusade is great.
And then it ends. And then
Yeah.
you're just like,
yeah,
what
that
is
would've
it?
been a
You're
great
like,
franchise.
those are the only movies.
One of the best franchises ever, but then they had to fucking fuck. Don't get me started. Okay, Pete.
The Alien movies are on there, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're on there.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right. Spin it up.
really hoping 50 Shades. I think that's going to be fun.
No, he'd like that one.
Yeah, but it'd make for fun. Oh.
Oh,
Mission Impossible,
not a
bad
not
one at
bad.
all.
Not
That's a
bad.
lot of
You
movies,
almost
but
got Police Academy right
I'm
there.
actually I'm slightly
He's
kind of,
disappointed he didn't get Police
No.
Academy done.
I'm actually slightly excited for this one because I've actually only seen the first two. I haven't seen anything after
There you
that,
go.
so this is
Yeah.
gonna be all new to me.
I think I've
Yeah.
only seen the first 3.
But there's
Maybe even
fucking
just the
8 of
first
them, aren't there? Jesus.
I haven't seen the
lot.
last two. The last two. The last one I heard was pretty good. The one before that, I couldn't. First 5 minutes, I had to turn it off. It was garbage.
I started watching the one with Cavill in it for obvious reasons, but I hadn't seen like anything since the second or third one. So it's like, what the fuck is going on? Like, and I just had to turn it off because I was like so
yeah,
confused.
it's gone much bigger. They're
so
pretty
confused.
decent. They're not bad.
Yeah, I
For
definitely
me, I like the first one's great. The second one was okay. It was
Yeah.
like the John Woo one. I
Yeah.
hated the third one, the J.J. Abrams one.
I didn't mind it. It was
really
basically like an
hated it.
episode of Alias.
Alias.
Yeah, but that's
Mhm.
not what the franchise is. It felt out of place.
It's
It didn't feel
entertaining
quite
enough.
right? And then like 4, 5, and 6 have all been like Tom Cruise's like pet projects, right? So that he gets to
Yeah.
show off how badass he is,
hanging off the sides of planes and
climbing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one I had to turn off. It was
using
just-
his magic.
That's the opening
Scientologist
scene.
powers.
That's the opening scene. It's like, come on.
Yeah,
Come
I mean
on.
that's really what these things have come
Come
down to.
on.
Each one
Come
has some
on.
like mind-boggling stunt that he does live.
Yeah.
and
Okay.
they use that as PR to promote the film.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. Well,
All right.
but we got through this episode. So
Nobody else
thank
will.
you for listening.
Nobody
Thank you
else
for
will,
downloading.
indeed.
Jesus.
No shit.
Next
3
week,
hours long.
next week we
Loaded
got
whale.
the season finale of Loki to talk
Please be
about.
good. Please be good.
And I don't really think anything else that's pressing. I know later in the month we got Ted Lasso coming back.
Yes.
And then,
Excited
uh,
about that.
Some more other and What If comes out. When's that come out?
A little later
August.
down the line.
Yeah,
11?
it's a ways
Something
away.
like that.
So
It's about a month.
so yeah, we got a lot of TV coming out here at the end of summer, fall time frame with so a lot to talk about coming then. Movie wise, nothing that looking forward to. So we'll see what we have to talk about next week. So till then, again, thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. Talk to you then.
Auf Wiedersehen.
I was waiting for it. There's something every episode.
There is something. Au revoir.
it was
did
dope.
fully
I think
artistry
Pete
in
should just
college.
leave
was
that
fun.
as is. Just keep the dinosaur there, and he can just talk off camera.
Well, if it's like last week, he'll end up falling down halfway down the screen, anyways.
It'd be
Yeah, it was-
fantastic. We could let Kevin make a little rudimentary like puppet head that just kind of like
Make the mouth go man, man, man.
yeah, made it look like his mouth opened and
Gotta
closed
get
every
one of
time
the ones
he
you
said
got you
something.
buy at the zoo where you like click the thing on the end of the pole, the dinosaur head goes like this. Just have it like coming up from bottom of the screen.
That'd be awesome. We should totally have Pete do that. You know, he'd be totally into it.
That way he could tinky all he wanted.
Oh my god.
God damn it.
I'm actually online right now looking for puppets.
You on another computer? What are you doing?
No, I'm on my phone. I'm messing with the cables because I'm trying that.
He's on the
minus thing.
shitter
Well,
right
no,
now.
just a second.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He does the podcast from the bathroom
Yeah.
every week, and just this week he's like, I just got to take a little quick, so he goes off camera, comes back. All right.